Hello, good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing today? Today is a Thursday again, and we are getting ready for the weekend and this spring break that we're having. A lot of people enjoying with their families. They are traveling around the country, and some people are going overseas. So, thank you so much for all the ones that are listening to us and watching us today with the attorneys in the law firm of Margaret W. Wong and Associates. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and I will be hosting this space for the next 30 minutes. Today, we have the attorney Francis Fonson, who is one of the experts in the law firm, working for several years, being awarded with 40 under 40 for several years. But also now, he's one of the main attorneys writing the headlines or the well, I don't know how to say that in English, but it's the way that we're going to work some cases in the law firm. So let's welcome the attorney, Francis Fonson. Thank you so much for having us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Okay. How can I say the word I was trying to find? I got stuck with the word. It's like when you design the way that people should do some stuff in the law firm regarding to new cases.
Well, I'm one of the partners here at the law firm, and I help Ms. Wong strategize and figure out the best path forward for our clients.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was pretty much the idea that I was looking for. And also, we know you are one of the experts that are working and designing the path of how to work some kind of cases, but we have received several questions regarding to the NIW visas. So what is the NIW visa and who could apply for this? Is the nationality an important thing about this kind of cases, or it doesn't matter?
Okay, so NIW stands for National Interest Waiver. Okay, when we talk about immigration, there are the temporary visas on one side, and then you've got permanent residency or pathways to the green card on the other side. NIW is one of the green card pathways, okay? There are different categories of green cards, whether it's family-based or based on employment or based on self-sponsorship or based on asylum or based on cancellation or removal. There's different ways to get the green card, okay? Now, for employment-based immigration, usually you have to have an employer who is willing to sponsor you with a job. Now, if you don't have an employer, it's not the end. You can self-sponsor in some categories. There's the EB-1A, which is for people of extraordinary ability. That means you have, you are national or international renown in your field, whether it's sports or athletics or business or education or the sciences. But there's also NIW, which is EB2 category, okay? NIW is for pretty much, is it in the public interest of the United States for you to remain here? And because it's in the interest of the United States, you don't have to have a job offer from an employer. You can self-sponsor, you can sign the paperwork. And so there's a couple different factors we look at. The factors are, is something of national importance to the United States, okay? Are you qualified to pursue this? And number three, why should the Immigration Service skip that job offer requirement? Is it outweigh the interest of trying to hire US workers, okay? And so how does NIW work? In some cases, you can file the NIW petition and your green card application at the same time. Other times, you have to file the NIW first and then wait in line for a few years before you can finish the green card process, okay? And so the important thing is to decide, it's not just about the numbers, not about the papers you've published or how many awards you've won or how many articles about you in the newspaper. It's not about that. It's more about the story. why is it in the interest of the United States for you to remain here?
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis, for this answer. And of course, um, if I am, is there any kind of specific professionals that could be like more likely to qualify for this kind of visa, or all of them qualify?
Okay, so the most common type of NIW will be in the science field. That means researchers, people who are researching how to cure diseases or researching different technologies, all of that. It's important for you to be here to continue to research. Now, in the past year, the Immigration Service has published updates saying they're trying to encourage people in two additional fields. Number one, STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Anything that would help the United States stay ahead of the competition in the technical field, okay? And number two, entrepreneurs. If you start your own business, or you're a very important part of a US business, and it's in the interest of the United States for you to continue to be here because you're hiring US workers, it's a successful business, then that's another way to help entrepreneurs. You can self-sponsor for the green card.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis, for this answer. And don't forget that you can call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Offices across the country in 7 cities of the United States. And you can just call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Let's start with the questions from our audience today. And this question says, "Hi guys, thanks for this show. I applied for a U visa and it was approved. So now I qualify for a green card. I have 2 questions. First, how is this process? And 2, I have 2 daughters born in Bangladesh that lived with me when I was victim of the crime. Can they be included in my green card application?"
Okay, so first of all, U visas are for victims of certain crimes. If you agree to help the police, or you're willing to help the police, and the police agree to sign your U visa paperwork, then you can apply for this type of visa, okay? Now, if your U visa is approved, it's taken 5 or 6 years for immigration to approve it, but if you are approved, it's valid for 4 years. After 3 years, you can apply for the green card. That means filing form I-485, okay? But you have to wait that full 3 years. Then you can file I-485 with the Immigration Service. Now, 2 daughters born in Bangladesh. Now, if they are physically in the United States and you applied for the U visa with them all at the same time, they can apply at the same time as you after waiting 3 years. If you sponsored them for the U visa after you, that means that they came to the United States after your U visa was approved. They have to wait their own 3 years before they can file their own I-485 green card application. So each person who has the U visa, whether it's you or your children or a spouse, they need to wait their own 3 years.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. And don't forget that you can call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. They will have an answer for your case. And of course, if you qualify, they will help you out so that you can get your immigration relief. Don't forget.
I want to bring, I want to bring up one more thing. Now, if the children were not included with your U visa application, that means the children do not have the U visa, they are not in the United States, you can still bring them here, but you have to file what's called a form I-929 along with your green card application.
Okay.
So that they can apply for the green card at the same time as you. They don't need their separate U visas because you are already approved and ready to get your green card. Okay, so that's the form I-929.
Okay. Thank you so much, Attorney Francis, for this comment. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The next question is, what is the deadline for H-1B visa application this year?
Okay, so the H-1B is the most common type of work visa in the United States. it's for what are called specialty occupations, jobs that require at least a bachelor's degree in a specific field. Now, if you've never had H-1B before, then usually you have to go through a lottery to get your very first H-1B because there's a limited number each year. And so that lottery actually has already been completed. It was March 1st to March 17th. So if you have a job and the employer is willing to file the H-1B for you, but missed this lottery or you were not selected, you have to wait for next year, March of 2024. If you did go through the lottery this year and you were selected, you would have found out last week, April 1st. And then if you were selected, you have 90 days between April 1st to June 30th to file your H-1B petition to the Immigration Service. Okay, you have to make sure you file within that 90 days. Now, some types of employers are not subject to the lottery. You could work for a college or university, or you could work for a nonprofit that is affiliated with a college or university. Then you can file the H-1B at any time. There's no lottery.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. Don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret W. Wong has built this law firm since 1977, and now it's over 46 years that she has been working on this field, and she has 15 attorneys or around 15 attorneys working with her across the country, plus over 60 people working in the law firm, working for you and helping thousands of families every single year to get an immigration relief. So please, if you need more information, just give us a call. The phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. It doesn't matter where you are from. They have interpreters. They have people that speak your language and that can help you get an immigration relief or get an answer for your concern. Next question, Attorney Francis, and thank you so much for having us today. It's a very general question, I would say, and it says, "Hi, why are the mass media saying that we should apply for humanitarian parole before July 2023?"
Well, first of all, humanitarian parole is for people who are trying to come to the United States or based on some sort of urgent humanitarian reason, okay? Now, parole was also available for people from Ukraine or Venezuela or certain other countries because they were escaping horrible conditions in their home country. So it's for people who are trying to get to the United States, or there's an established way for people from certain countries. Now, I don't know anything about a July deadline, but if you already have approved parole in the United States, usually it's only valid for 1 year or 2 years. If you want to maintain that parole and the work permit, you have to apply for re-parole. Okay, you have to extend that parole. And so if you are nearing the expiration of your initial parole, you have to apply for the renewal. Okay, it's better if you apply before the initial one expires.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. Yes, I think this question comes from people that are watching the news, and they are saying that apparently there is a lawsuit against this act of giving the parole, the humanitarian parole for people from Nicaragua, Haiti, Cuba, Venezuela, and Ukraine. So they just need to keep doing it, right?
Right. I mean, if you are eligible, definitely keep doing it until the Immigration Service says you cannot. Okay. There's lawsuits against every kind of immigration benefit now, whether it's based on DACA or based on certain types of asylum. I mean, a lot of people are trying to stop immigration benefits. So if you qualify, definitely try to apply.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Attorney Francis. And don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The mother of my kids turned into CBP in the border with Mexico. She came into a shelter and now she's been sent back to Mexico. Is this an impediment so that she could find a sponsor if she is sent back to Venezuela?
So if we're talking about that parole process for Venezuelans, it is a problem if you were deported from the United States previously. So we would need more information about what specifically happened when you were sent back, if you were allowed to leave voluntarily, or if you were actually removed or deported from the United States.
Okay, so if this person was not actually deported, but was, let's say, turned back to Mexico, would this be a problem so that this person could find a sponsor in the United States and sponsor this person to come to the U.S.?
Yes, if the person was not deported, then you can definitely try the parole process for Venezuelans.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome, and thank you so much for helping us with this answer. The next question is interesting. I don't have the knowledge, of course, to answer a question like this, but fortunately, we have the attorney Francis Fongson, who has a lot of experience with this. A congresswoman helped me process my asylum faster since I have a baby with medical problems. Like, how long would it take for me to get asylum interview?
Okay, so if you have applied for asylum, then in general, you would have to be interviewed by the Immigration Service. Now, most of the resources right now are for the southern border, people applying for asylum at the border. And everybody else, they might be waiting in line for years or years. If you have an urgent need to try to expedite your asylum, you can contact the asylum office that controls your case. It could be Chicago, it could be Newark, it could be in New Orleans. It depends on where you're living. And then if they have an open time slot, they can try to fit you in. Okay. Otherwise, you might be waiting a few years for your interview.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. So this person adds that she received a letter from immigration that the expeditious or expedited interview was accepted,
Okay.
but still no date.
Right.
That they are giving priority to the new cases.
Right. There's only a certain number of interview slots. So it might be a couple weeks, it might be a couple of months, but if you did receive that expedite approval, then you'll definitely get it sooner rather than later. Not going to be a few years.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. Don't forget that if you need more information, you can call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. My name is Akash Patel. I applied the U visa on June 2022. So how long to take the work authorization card, please? Thank you.
Okay, so when you apply for the U visa, starting the past year or two, the Immigration Service, used to be you have to wait until the Immigration Service actually reviews the case before they issue that work permit. So it could be 4 or 5 years before you get that work permit. But starting the past year, they've started reviewing the case earlier. And if they decide that the case satisfies the minimum requirements, then they'll make what's called a bona fide determination and approve the work permit early. Okay. Now, if you applied in June of 2022, and we're almost nearing about 10 months now, then I think in the near future, over the next few months, you should be getting a letter from immigration about this bona fide determination and whether you qualify to get that early work permit. Okay, so it should be sometime this year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Attorney Francis. And well, if you need more information, just don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call. Don't forget that the attorney Margaret W. Wong has offices in 7 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one phone number, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. A lot of experience working for you in your immigration case. You can make sure that your immigration case is going to be attended by professionals that are working full time for you and for your family so that you can get an immigration relief. So don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Irvin Sanchez says, hello, and thank you so much for your greetings, Irvin, and we appreciate that. The next question we have right here on our YouTube channel is, hello, I filed for my sister uh, 3 years ago. She is from Peru, and I am a U.S. citizen. She is single. And how long is it taking for the I-130 to be approved, and also the current time for me to file for her?
Well, so those are two different questions. How long will it take for that petition to be approved? And how long will it take for her to get the green card? Now, the petition approval, it could be anywhere from 2 years up to 10 years. Okay, it just depends on when the Immigration Service looks at it. And the reason they can take a long time to process it, that there's no rush, is because there's a long wait time for brothers and sisters of US citizens to be eligible to get their green card. That's because there are a limited number of green cards that can be approved each year from each country in each category, and brothers and sisters of US citizens are the slowest. It's going to take probably 15 years waiting in line before she can get her green card, before she can be even eligible to be interviewed and get her green card. And so during that whole time, she's waiting in line. So it doesn't really matter when the petition's approved, she still has to wait in line. It's the date that your petition was received by immigration. That is the priority date that places her in line.
Okay, sorry for this mistake. Hi, is the EB2 a kind of application that you need to wait for a visa bulletin? Thank you.
Okay, so EB2 stands for Employment-Based Second Preference Category. We talked about NIW, National Interest Waiver, before. That is also in the EB2 category. Okay, so the visa bulletin I just mentioned, sometimes you have to wait in line before you're eligible to get the green card. Some countries have to wait longer than others. Same goes for employment-based cases. Now, EB2, for many countries, there's no waiting in line, but for India and China, EB2, you do have to wait in line for several years, so it is subject to that visa bulletin. So India and China, you might be waiting 4 years, 5 years, 10 years before you can get the green card based on the EB2 category.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. And I think we have time for one more question. This person says, hi, I am from India, lived in Canada for 3 years, and now here in the United States since 2010. I have 2 kids born in the United States, and I would like to know if there is a way that I could get a work permit or an immigration case.
Okay, well, a lot of this depends on how you entered the United States. Did you enter legally or illegally? Okay, if you enter legally, if your kids who are US citizens turn 21, then the child can sponsor you for the green card, and it should be pretty straightforward because you entered legally and you have an immediate relative who is going to petition for you. Okay, if you entered illegally, it's more difficult. You wouldn't be eligible to apply for the green card through your child because eventually you would need a waiver of this illegal time because you have to go through the US Embassy in Mumbai in India to do the green card. Okay, now what about a work permit? So if you entered illegally, there's a couple different options. We talked about U visa, for example, if you are a victim of a qualifying crime. Okay, so it says illegal entry. So that means that it's going to be difficult for you to get the green card in the United States. If you're a victim of a qualifying crime, you could try the U visa. Okay. If for some reason you get in trouble with immigration and immigration starts a deportation case against you issuing what's called a notice to appear, or NTA, and you have to go to immigration court. Then you could apply for what's called cancellation of removal, or 10-year cancellation, because you have 2 children who are under the age of 21 in the United States who would experience hardship if you had to leave, okay? And you can get a work permit while you're waiting for that cancellation of removal case. Now, you've been in the United States for at least 10 years now, and so asylum is going to be very difficult for you to win. Asylum is based on persecution that you've suffered in the past, threats or harm you might experience in the future. The problem is there's usually a 1-year deadline to apply from when you come to the United States. If you don't apply within that 1 year, the Immigration Service will make it very difficult for you to win your asylum case unless you show that something in your life, some circumstances in the country have changed in India so that now you are applying instead of applying back in 2010, 2011. So if there has been some change in your situation or the country such that now you have an asylum claim, then you can apply for asylum now. And if you're waiting longer than 150 days, still without the case being processed, then you can apply for a work permit while you wait for the asylum case to be processed.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Francis. Our time is almost done, but just a question regarding to what we see on the news, and I always like to clarify what's going on because news channels are always trying to cut the attention of the people, to catch the attention, and sometimes they come up with some news that are some stuff that happened before, or just something that has been happening for 10 years, but then they come up with this like a new thing, and it's actually not new. So about the asylum applications, are they going faster right now, the new applications, than the older ones?
Actually, we do not see it going faster. It's very rare. We haven't seen very many asylum interviews being scheduled. I think the focus is on more recent arrivals and border cases, just like it's been for the past year or two. So usually the way we see asylum cases going more quickly is we see a lot more interviews being scheduled. But so far, we haven't seen that.
Okay, interesting. So thank you so much, Attorney Francis, for this answer, for all the knowledge that you have for all of us. And looking forward to see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a good lunch.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And if you have any questions or you have any immigration concerns, don't forget that you can call the phone number 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call in order to talk to the attorneys in the law firm of Margaret W. Wong and Associates, the attorneys that really, really know about immigration. Don't forget the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, attorneys in the law firm of Margaret W. Wong and Associates.